You don't need another camera if you have the ZV-1 for vlogging. You're set. You're all good. You're good for the next 2 or 3 years. Hell, you're good for the next 4 years. Yo guys, what's going on? This is Francois, your favorite American expat living here in Seoul, South Korea. Today I want to talk to you about this. This is the Sony ZV-1 and why it's still the go-to vlogging camera for 2022 and beyond. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to film the first part of this vlog with my Sony a7S III, and then I'm going to switch to the ZV-1 because this is much lighter. Let's change spots and let's change cameras and let's continue the story. Man, it took me forever to pack up the a7S III. That's one reason why I love the Sony ZV-1. I can just put it on my Ulanzi tripod, selfie stick, whatever you want to call it, and just go. Like, there is no cleanup. I don't have to worry about leaving any parts behind. So yeah, just the portability of the ZV-1. I can take it with me anywhere. I don't have to worry about any additional mess or any collaterals. So that's one reason why I love the Sony ZV-1. Also, it's very easy to be inconspicuous with vlogging with the Sony ZV-1. It's small. I mean, it's not super small, but it's small enough that people aren't looking at you strangely when you're walking around and vlogging. Even though I don't care if anyone looks at me, like everyone's looking at me now, but whatever, who cares? It's just a great camera. It's a great little camera to have with you in a spot, in a pinch. When I'm traveling around Korea or when I'm traveling in general, I'm taking the Sony ZV-1 with me over any other full frame camera. Full frame cameras just draw too much attention. They're not easy to carry. I'm tired. I'm always carrying my large backpack with me, and the less weight that I can have inside of the backpack to reduce the burden on my back, the better. So I'm taking the ZV-1 with me wherever I go. I know everyone's like, Francois, where's your hat? You always have a hat. We've never seen you without your hat. You look very strange bald. Yeah, I know. Well, today the weather is too good for me to have a hat on, so I want to get the last vestiges of heat before this small cold front moves in. Another thing about the Sony ZV-1 is the file sizes. The file sizes aren't as big as the a7 IV or the a7S III. I have a very quick workflow. I can load the images in Premiere and I can get the images, edited, cut and screwed, chopped, mashed, smashed, whatever you have it. I can get them edited pretty quickly, more easily than I would be on a full frame camera. I can edit my files when I'm on the go. So if I'm in another city and I don't have access to my laptop, because usually I bring my iPad when I'm traveling, I can just load the files into a SD card reader and upload them to my iPad, and then everything is A-OK. Another thing about the ZV-1, the image quality is crazy good, especially when you learn how to color grade. I just learned how to color grade in the SLG3 format, and it's making my footage look amazing. I did not know the ZV-1 was so powerful. When I got this camera, I was annoyed with it because it was just like a regular camera. The image quality out of it was the same as my a7 IV, and it didn't look any different. Even though it was nice to carry something light around, it just didn't look as different as I expected it to. But once you learn color grading, wow, it just takes the image to another level. Then you can start to see how powerful this camera really is. I think I'm actually walking the wrong way. People are like, why are you walking this way on the path? It'll be okay. I'm a foreigner. No, I'm not walking the wrong way. It's okay. I'm good. ZV-1 is a great multi-purpose camera. You're going to be able to have some incredible image quality out of the video, incredible image quality from photography. It's small, it's lightweight, it's compact. It does a variety of things that you would want in your vlogging camera. So another thing I didn't mention was a high frame rate. For those of you who do not want to, go into your editing program and have to adjust the speed of your clip, you can just use the high frame rate mode on the ZV-1 to achieve some incredible slow motion footage. I mean, I used it for the first time at the beginning of this school semester, and I was super impressed by the slow motion capabilities of this little camera. Mind you, you can't use the high frame rate for long periods of time. You can use it in, I think, 5 to 6 second bursts. When you're vlogging, you're just showing B-roll. You're not showing slow motion for an extended amount of time. You're showing slow motion for maybe a couple of seconds. So the high frame rate time limit on this camera is actually perfect. And the more I started to learn about the ZV-1, the more comfortable I became with it. I always reach for this camera when I'm traveling, when I'm going out to vlog. Even though I can use the A7 IV, I can use the A7S III. Yeah, a lot of people complain about the ZV-1 not having a larger focal length, and even when you vlog at 24 millimeters, if you want the footage to look stable, you have to turn on the active stabilization, which makes the lens angle or the focal length cropped a little bit. So instead of 24, it might be like 26 millimeters or something like that. When I vlog, I want to show the background as much as possible so people can see where I am, see where I'm traveling. So that might be a very small complaint that most people will have for the Sony ZV-1. I don't have that complaint because I just bought the Ulanzi adapter, which made the focal length wider when I'm vlogging and when this active stabilization is activated. Yeah, when did this camera come out? I think it came out in 2019. Man, it's only 2022, the end of 2022. You don't need another camera if you have the ZV-1 for vlogging. You're set, you're all good. You're good for the next 2 or 3 years. Hell, you're good for the next 4 years probably, because I think my opinion is that the camera technology is starting to reach its limit. Everything is starting to look the same. All of the cameras are starting to have the same processing speeds and power. So save your money, keep the ZV-1 if you have it. And if you're thinking about changing to another vlogging camera, you don't need to. This thing is future proof. Yeah, just enjoy your Sony ZV-1. Watch YouTube videos to learn how to edit, learn how to use the ZV-1 to its fullest ability before you turn around and sell it because you're not achieving the same image quality as other YouTubers or the image quality that you had in your mind. Last thing we're going to talk about with the Sony ZV-1 is the one lens fits all. You don't need to change lenses. You can just take the ZV-1 with you. It's got the equivalent of a full frame lens from 24 to 70 millimeters. So the reach on this thing is incredible. It's good for videography and it's also good for photography. When I'm traveling, I don't need to take another camera with me. I can just take the ZV-1 with me, mind you, with extra batteries, because the batteries go out on this thing pretty quickly if you're only recording. But if you take a lot of batteries with you, then you don't have to worry about taking another camera with you. However, I can't really take that many photos with this because I put the Ulanzi wide angle lens on the ZV-1. So now the focal length is wider than I would like when I'm taking photos. However, if I were in a pinch, if I were in a bind, I could take amazing photos with this camera. Anyways, take care. We'll see you in the next one. This is Francois. I'm out. Peace.